Hey guys, come on up in here. Come on up in here. Hey guys, come on in here. I am in here with you guys. We got a little bit late, but today we are doing our social work table talks, right? We got a table over here. Some of you guys been to our physical office. We have a big old school grandma type table where amazing things take place. So we're gonna be on this journey with you today. It is Black History Month. We're honoring Black history. Hey, my fellow Black people, African American people who's doing your thing with the best that you have in front of you. And thank God for our brothers and our sisters bridging the gap. And we're starting to see more of us coming together. More of you guys are starting to do some things that you never thought you can do since the pandemic. We want you to know that we're going to be really before you a little bit more often, especially this month, Black History Month. And so my goal is to be able to allow this space to encourage, to empower, so you can elevate not only as an individual but even for your family. And I know on the journey, it's been rough, right? And so when you have support, you can be yourself. You can normalize that sometimes you're waking up and you're not feeling up to it, right? All of us need a support, a safe place where you can be supported on the journey. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Today, I just like, you know what? We're going to be calling it table topics, table talks, different things that we want to talk about. And the one thing you're going to have in this experience when you're logging off is you're going to feel hopeful. When you think about encouragement, it's someone who give you a space to push you, to give you some encouragement. I want someone and all of you guys to know, share this out with someone. We come in, we get dressed. You guys been in praying for me through the flu. Everything is fine. And that is what community do. We pray each other through. We encourage each other through. One day you may encourage me, I may encourage you. One of your kids got something going on, you believe in God to heal them. We're not talking death over their situation. We are encouraging them. And so that's what you're going to find on social work table talks. We're really talking about life and stuff, right? We're not going to reinforce some of the heavy stuff that we're dealing with. Some things we will be very upfront and transparent about. And how does the world system and the views and the different things going on in our community, in our country, in our nation, how does that have an impact on me? Some of you guys have been emailing saying, look, I'm not feeling it. I don't know what it is. Is it the weather? Is it my mood? I don't know what it is. And for you guys, I want you to understand that this escape place down here, you can come, you can get the support you need, you can get the guidance. If you are in need of therapy, we have therapists that really are good with young people. So if you have a young person that's out of control, so to speak, you feel like you want to put them in a whole headlock, come on now. You don't have to do this by yourself. Get them. We have this game system put up where we have the game system put up where some of them can come in here and be with a therapist and really just connect with them in a way that resonate, because we are really big on building relationship. Somebody say building a relationship. It's important to be able to build relationship, especially with young people in a world that really judges them all the time. So we're going to be, I'll be bringing up Celeste Galeno, who is an associate marriage family therapist. I'll be bringing her in on this live in a few minutes. One of the things I'm going to do is ask you guys to ask questions. This is your space to ask questions. Social working for 25 years, a lot of people, when they get on the other side of a system, that is where they find themselves scared, overwhelmed, they're upset. It's scary, it's frightening, right? And so, proactively, we are bringing our skill set to the online platform so you can ask questions and get guidance, non therapeutic guidance, because we're not doing therapy in this space on this live in particular, but really ask some of those courageous questions, because it does take a lot of courage, a lot of courage to ask some of the questions. Once you on the journey and you start to figure out that you're not the only one with the question, you start to feel better. You start to say, you know what? I'm going to be the one to ask that question. There's no more like elephant in the room and everybody just kind of being quiet in the corner. No, I need help. My kids is wild. I'm wild. Me and my man is falling out. Me and my mom have a toxic relationship. Mother's Day's coming up and I'm starting to feel some type of way. What do I do with all of this, right? Ask for help. Reach out. Know that we're on this journey together. So I'm going to go ahead and get some Kleenex for one, but we're going to go ahead and ask some questions. And let's get Celeste in with us. We are going to come in here and we're just going to do our table topics, table talks, if you will. I'm interchangeably calling them both. And we are learning. Hey, Celeste. Hey, can we can't hear you. Alexa, volume down. No, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So Instagram, we have Miss Celeste on our Facebook page. If you guys go to Talk to Tasha on YouTube, you can actually see Celeste for some of you guys that are visual. But otherwise, you can still engage on Instagram. Come back and ask those different questions. If we don't have the answers, we will definitely let you know and try to guide you with resources. All you have to do is hit us in the DM, and we will do our best to have the support staff come in and just kind of guide you. Our goal in this table, what do we call this? The social work table talk,
Table talk.
table talk. So we have stuff out on the table. It is Black History Month, right? And I want to just start off by saying, Celeste, tell us a little bit about you and why you chose to get in the profession, being a mental health provider, and a little bit about Be Your Best with Celeste.
Well, that's a good question, Tasha, and I appreciate your question, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this platform and here with all of you to share my heart with you. And the reason why I got into this is because I just follow after God. And God's the one that brought me, He put this in my heart because I have a passion and a love for people, all people. I don't care what acts of life you come from or where you came from. I love people and I want to see everyone be their very best self. I want to see them to be able to take the tools that they have inside of them and to grow and to move in the direction that they want to grow and be the person that they want to be and be successful. And so I'm in this profession to allow to empty myself and allow God to work through me to pour into you his love that he has for you and to move you into the purpose and plan he has for your life. And so thank you for asking that question. And so when Tasha asked me to be on this platform, I said, well, what am I going to talk to people about? Well, this is Valentine's month and it's all about love. And so I thought, well, it's we're still in February, so let's talk about love. Let's talk about as an area because love can mean so many things to so many people in so many different ways. And how are we expressing that love to others? And how are you effectively um, letting others, people that are closest to you, people within your surrounding, people at your jobs, people at your office, people that you know, how are you how are you expressing love to them? How are you how does someone know that you love and care about them in a meaningful way? How are you making that possible to those individuals around you? And so the answer is one of the answers is, and I'm sure there's several answers, but it's the way you speak to them. How many of us speak in a loving, kind way? Some of us speak to strangers better than we talk to our own kids.
And
Some
what
of
do
us,
you think? And what do you think, Celeste, contribute to that? What do you think contribute to we go and we are just so kind and and generous to strangers, and then we're not as friendly and open with those that we love, but we, just don't show up in that way for the people that we know. What do you think is the underlining, if you have to take a stab at it, what that would be?
If I was to take a stab at it, I think it's partially because of the way we were brought up. You know, we're brought up to when people come over our house, we got to have the house sparkling and clean, and we bring out our best dishes. We bring out, we make sure everything is perfect and wonderful, and we put on a nice tablecloth. We put flowers on the table, things that we wouldn't even do for our family. There's something
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that. There's something we need to take a step back and look. Why am I treating this stranger better than I treat my own family? What would be different in my home life if I do that for my family first, if I put my family first and show love and show the people in my life that I care about them, the people in my life that I love them. And
Ooh.
so I think that's a topic. Love is a great topic to talk about, and there's so many different aspects of it. But I think that we need to learn to treat our family members just like better or even like we would treat a complete stranger.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for saying that, because I know, like, on the journey, some individuals feel like, hey, I've loved my family, I've been hurt by my family, and so instead of extending great experiences with them, I go and find it elsewhere. And I know that we're talking about, love and stuff like that. We know that Valentine is a multi-million dollar, if not billion-dollar industry, because people tend to buy flowers and candies and things. But thank you so much for shedding light, because I think a lot of us can relate to growing up where everything had to be perfect and polished in order for the relatives to come over. You wanted to create this image, if you will, and cleanliness and all of these upgraded meals and china, like you're talking about. And really, if we could be honest, if we can be completely honest, do you believe that love has conditions, instead of like in the context we're talking about? It doesn't mean you stop loving a family member because they're not treating you a certain way.
No, I don't. I believe that love, the kind of love that God has for us is unconditional love. It's
Okay.
not based on if you're going to be nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you, or if you're going to bat your eyes in the wrong way, I'm gonna bat my eyes back at you. Or if you're really nice to me, then I'll be nice to you. That's not the kind of love. Love is unconditional. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. You still love that person no matter what they do. If they decide to treat you nice or don't decide to treat you nice, you still, that love for them is always going to be there, and it's always going to be there. It's not that you have to put yourself in a place where you can be hurt, or put you in a place where you have to go back to that person to abuse you, but you can still love that person. You love that person no matter what. And it's not based on conditions. It's
Ooh.
based on love.
Okay. Thank you for that, because I believe that you're right. I think that people, it's been my experience, as you'll always hear me say, is some people, I've experienced people to believe because you set a boundary and you're not spending as much time with them that you used to, somehow that equates to their interpretation that you don't love them. And what some people don't realize is sometimes, as you're shifting, whether we in kindergarten, in college, or you're on a different journey, your interest starts to change. Your conversations is a little bit different. It's going in another direction. And right. And so some people, I've even experienced in the last couple of weeks, where someone was exercising their boundary, and the individual that is used to this individual always saying yes really got upset. And I told the individual, I said, just keep celebrating that, because now you're operating in your truth, which is an extension of love, right? If we're going to love everyone else and don't love the yes inside of me, what are we conveying here, right? So, what would you say to the person who needs to understand that this is not a tit for tat? Like, the love switch don't go on and off. You might not like the behavior of someone, but it doesn't mean you turn your love off. And a lot of times when we're talking about behavior changes and really going in for yourself, as we're talking about self discovery and self love, it's going to really require you to really walk courageously. I said, take a lot of courage, right? To be able to recognize, hey, this no longer fit me. I love you, but I'm loving myself enough to know that I'm not sure what may come out of my mouth. For example, if I'm in a situation where I'm not like I'm upset, or I'm in a situation where I'm figuring out what life storms has brought me. So it's no longer on this loser's bench, if you will, of conversations of non-substance. So really talk about that part that really stood out for me is, and I tell my kids this all the time, the measure of how God, worked through us is really not how others treat you, but how do I respond?
So you need to, well, I'll speak for myself. Any kind of toxic situation that if I even get close to something like that, I remove myself because I do love myself and I do love that other individual. Sometimes by us walking in love and walking away and
Mm-hmm.
getting out of toxic situations actually helps that other person, because by us being a better version of ourselves, we influence everyone else around us. The decisions that we make will influence everyone around us. So showing love or having love for a person does not mean you need to be in a toxic situation,
Mm-hmm.
and or any kind of a situation that you don't feel peace about. If you don't feel peace about being around a certain person, then you need to get away from that person because you do not feel peace about it. And that's still showing I love you, but I don't have to be around you. um
Ooh, let me jump right there. I have to let people know that Miss Galeno is real, like one of her go-to phrases and things that I can really remember on our journey of sisterhood that we just met this what over the summer, I want to say. That is one thing I often hear you say. I have to have peace about it. And that's what I can respect about you and the value that you brought to my life, even because I really, really am like leaning into, the complicated factors that we put on our lives as if we can't change our mind about a situation. And I like that you are gentle with your decision making, right? Sometimes you'll tell me, you know what, I got to pray about it because I have to have peace about my decision making. In a world that tries to force you to make a decision, one of my kids got a call and the person was forcing a program and, oh, come get enrolled over here and just pushing. And we had that conversation. We living in a gut, like a really gutter type world sometimes, and people agenda is to close a deal. There's no like there's not that many relationship building experiences. And so when you have those things before you and you get pushed in it and sucked into it, you have to give yourself permission to step back and say, you know what, your sense of urgency has nothing to do with me. I'm after peace even more than being right. So when you and I are, working and serving and we see a lot of family conflict, the conflict shows up at work, it shows up in their finances, it shows up in every sense of their being because conflict is the way that they deal, and you're not after peace. Peace says you can go ahead and be right. You can dominate that conversation. Peace, I'm going over here. Because peace don't have to entangle with or try to convince you to think like me, right? And
Also,
I like
peace
that.
will
I
not,
really
I
thank you
don't
for
mean to interrupt, but peace will not allow you to be in a place where there's confusion and fighting, because it says where in the Bible it says where there is fighting and there's confusion, there's every kind of evil. So there's
every kind of evil.
it doesn't say some, it says every kind of, where there's strife and there's fighting, it's every kind of evil that's there. And
Right.
peace is not going to be there. It's not going to
Peace,
want to be there.
peace is not good. And like
Peace is
this is
exiting.
what I
I'm
tell
out of
people
here.
exactly. And this is why we say, like here, when we create a space for you guys, in the local area or even on the online experience, it is very critical. Would you say, Celeste? to create the atmosphere of peace in your dwelling, in your home. Because you're at home, then you're at work, you got other demands on your plate. You have to create peace in your dwelling. And what are some steps or some tips that you found helpful in creating peace at home? And I'll share some that I have.
First of all, I believe that prayer, you can't overrate prayer, and just enter into your inside. You For me, I pray and then I just check and I wait and let God, I let go and let God and see where I'm at. If I don't feel peace about the situation, I'm not going to stay there. If I'm not sure and I'm still not sure if I feel peace or not, the answer is no until I figure out. I will not say yes first. I'll say no first until I find out, or I'll say, let me get back to you on that.
Okay, good. And the one thing I want to give people examples about what you can try, because everything that we're talking about on this social work table talks is really putting things out there on the table. Last night I was with you guys for a little bit, really talking about creating your home as a sanctuary. And you might have three generations in that home right now where your tolerance level for some behaviors is not where it used to be. And this generation is over here doing this, that, and the third. You have to establish some core things. I believe it's only one king and a queen in that house. If it's just the female and you got somebody you done allowed to come over, sleep on your couch till they get on their feet, there's some things that's just foundationally how you get down at home. And those core values that you hold near and dear need not be compromised. We see a lot of people. It's been my experience that I see people, you're feeling bad because you expect certain things at your dwelling. I don't care if your bill past due, finna be due, about to be due. That is your place of peace. And if individuals is bringing this not more than just rent, but they bringing some negative energy and some high stressful, contagiously breaking down energies and spirits, it's not worth you to take that energy in your house to get a little rent up out of them. Because on the back end, baby, you gonna be struggling. You're gonna be fighting, can't sleep, things is gonna be topsy turvy. And especially for some of you guys that struggle with setting boundaries in your home. You got to know that you know that you know that anybody who comes for you and they always need to get built out, you got to have those conversations, right? Because we are on a journey of self-discovery. Some of you guys are learning how to discover who you truly are in this season, whether you got laid off work, whether a disability pulled up on you, whether you're going through a relationship breakup, whether your kids is falling out, whether they are, dropping out of school, life stuff that many people hide up under the rug in shame with. Some of you guys are starting to realize I don't have to be ashamed. This is what it is. This is why I'm telling you guys, when we open up this door over here, we doing therapy on a part-time basis. We recognize our limitations because we love what we do. We love what we do. And Celeste and I would get in here, we really scream, am I the best fit for you? Because we love what we do. We're called and gifted for what we do. Some of you guys are out there, you're so gifted, you're so talented, you're so skillful. But really be clear, like Sis was saying, what is my purpose right now? My purpose before was working in child welfare, working 50, 60-hour weeks, saving the world, and mine is over here needing to be picked up from childcare. But don't you know on your journey, your interest, your tolerance level, right? I had the first kid on my caseload, Sister Celeste, that passed away in the hands of a foster parent. They gave us 3 days off to deal with that. And then I had to be back at a round table to talk about the death review. The death review, we have to slice the case down. Whoever touched the case would kind of go through and see if there's anything we missed. I was so hard on myself as a social worker. What did I didn't see? Where did I go wrong? Why didn't I see the signs that this foster parent was what she was, creative as she was as a school teacher, a preschool teacher? Why didn't I see this? Blaming myself, right? And so what I'm saying is those spirits be dressed up. The spirits be dressed up, and they're very cunning. They decorative. They have all the Winnie the Poohs and everything up. And the measure of a person's heart, sometimes we cannot see. And this is where my life and my work, I had to increase my prayer. Lord, show me some things that I can't see with my naked eye. Give me that spirit of discernment. Turn the volume up on my discernment. And baby, moving forward from that experience, I started to take a little bit more time. What I see is face value, cute, a good talk, Winnie the Pooh stickers and Mickey Mouse, this to that. No, 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 no. That experience, and I always will remember that baby's name all over the news. Right? And so that's why it's very important, you guys. Where are you at on your journey? Peace.
That's it right there. Search for peace. If there's no peace, I don't care if you ride the bus and something in your heart tells you don't get on that bus. But I gotta go. I don't want to be late. I gotta go to Aunt Nanny's house and she's waiting for me and I need to get in. But next bus won't be here for another 20 minutes. But inside of you, it says, don't get on that bus. You don't get on that bus, okay? Right. You just don't do it. And I can tell you about an experience that I had with someone that I knew that he went to a gas station, and I was doing a group on this on about following after peace. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys says, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. He says, one time I was going to a gas station and something I needed gas, and I there's a gas station right there. And he says, yeah, but I remember what you're talking about, peace. And I said, no, it's right here. It's just so easy. I can get a gas there. It won't be another mile before I get to another gas station. So he went over there. He didn't have peace about it. Went and started getting gas, and he realized that the place was being robbed. Ooh. The place was being robbed. He saw the guy with the gun up to the cash register's head, wanting to get the money. He's like, oh man. So he just put the gas thing back and got in his car and took off. But he says, I never forgot the fact that you told me, if you don't feel peace about something, don't do it. And he says, that what you told me came right back to me. So even in that situation with the childcare, because if you're in childcare, you really need to screen. You need to be sensitive. Get more. Build that muscle. Let that muscle, by listening to it, let that muscle grow, because it's a muscle. You let that thing. You do develop that where you're following after peace, and it gets stronger and stronger. And like, you have you look good, you dress nice, you got the curly hair and you got the cute lips and everything else. And you got everything that I would like in a man, or you got everything I like in a woman, or whatever your preference is. But you don't feel peace. Something about it. I don't feel peace. I mean, you got a nice car. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that shiny car out there. Ooh, and you got a good job. Oh man, you got everything. Maybe this peace thing is not working right. Then you get into that relationship, find out this person's abusive. Oh, beating you up because you didn't listen, but you knew that you didn't have peace about being in there. You pushed that peace away and looked at what you saw with your flesh. Your flesh was talking to you. You let that flesh be louder than the peace. We need to let the peace be louder than the flesh.
Yes. And that is so key, because I remember. Go ahead.
Let peace be your umpire. Let peace be your guide. Let it be your referee. Yes. Say, hey, what do I do about this guy? Looks so good. Oh, look, he's a bodybuilder too. Oh, look at. Oh, look at those shiny shoes he's wearing. Oh, look at that smile. Oh my gosh, he's got a killer smile. Mm-hmm. Let peace follow you. Say, you know what, bro? You're really cute, but you know what? I don't feel peace about you. And let peace be your rule. Let peace be your guide. All right. Thank you.
Amen. That's really good. I think that's a good way as we segue in and really with the framework that we're here to encourage and to challenge you to pick up your tools of empowerment so you can elevate for yourself. And in the world that rushes you and excuse me, and pressures you to make decisions spontaneously without any afterthought or any forethought, giving yourself permission to craft out what really am I seeking? Because as we mature, as you said before, the pretty stuff is temporary. It doesn't bring me peace. And some of you guys that are married to concepts, morals, values, and different things that your family have taught you, I'm real big about saying to you, either you're going to obey the will for your life that God has set before you, or you're going to obey Big Mama's regimen. Because some of us was raised up that you don't go against anything Big Mama says, right? And we make our family, even in our children, our many gods, right? And we're not to have uh any other gods and out here worshiping, and you don't see it as worshiping, but anything that you have really put before you, and you over here making your decisions, you know in your heart of hearts that there's more to life than you going around in circles like this. There's more to life than you getting a piece of a man or a piece of a woman. For y'all guys up in here, we are really moving you guys forward, giving yourself permission to define what does peace really look like for me, right? Now in my age, I mean, we've been on a journey. We not trying to have a car payment no matter what. When we were younger, oh baby, we wanted, and there's nothing wrong with what it is that you have and the desires that you have. Just making sure those decisions is not become your core value to the point you out here working yourself to death, literally, and then you're making that thing define who you are. A lot of people we're dealing with, they are having a hard time adjusting. Don't we see a lot of adjustment disorder? We see, and we're not doing therapy in this space, it's table talks. But you got to understand, when there's any type of shift, whether young people adjusting to being an adult, y'all got to understand, in their lifetime, people in their yearbook has died from violence and COVID and all kinds of different things in any lifetime. I can literally say in my time graduating from high school in 1990, I don't have the same journey as my kids. I don't have the same journey as some of my kids who have teachers who was sexually inappropriate with their friends. That wasn't really, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it wasn't really right in front of us like these kids are going through. So when you guys are fighting up against your kids and your grandkids or whatever it is, and you're fighting for what you see in the natural, we got to deal with that internal condition. Because a lot of us, in the name of being busy and I'm just so tired, you're missing out on the biggest ministry that starts at home. And some of you guys are sitting up, allowing people to pull from you at home. And I'm talking about this more because what I've heard from you guys on the emails is that multi-generational families is moving up under one roof. And I keep telling you guys, you cannot let just any and everything come up in there. Y'all got to lay the foundation. This is what the family meeting's gonna look like. You gonna do this, I'm expecting you to do that. You got smokers versus non-smokers. You got people believing God for some stuff, and you got people that's cursing God. You cannot divide your house. All that you work for your peace of mind, deliverance, and peace, because you're trying to bail out the next person who refused to pull it together for whatever reason. What would you say, Celeste, to the person who is seeking peace, found peace, but then, feeling obligated to bail people they love out, and they willing to compromise all that they work for in terms of their internal peace? What advice would you give them, to the people that are living in multi-generational setups right now as we deal with inflation?
I love the fact that you've set the foundation. You do have to set boundaries. And if those boundaries are not followed, then there need to be consequences. And those need to be very clearly it's understood and clearly spoken, and
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that there is a definitely understanding. Therefore, by having those set boundaries, knowing that person, if they're coming in and they knowing what they're obligated to do and what they have to do, and if they don't do this, and if this is not being carried out, then you have your you have your consequences for that, and you're going to get peace that as you're doing this. You will have peace as you're doing, but always check with God first. I always say, put God first in every situation. Ask him, say, Father, do you want this person to live in my house? And if you do want him, and he says, yeah, they live, and what kind of boundaries can we set that will be followed? And if they're not followed, then you have to follow through. Be a follow througher. If you say something, let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. It's just really simple. And if they're not following the boundaries, if they're not following the rules, and God's, you've checked, you believe that God told you it's okay for them to, and they're not doing it, if they're not cleaning up behind themselves, if they're not doing their part, and the consequences is that you have to leave, then feel peace about them having to leave. If it follow through because you're actually helping them. You
Yes.
you're helping them to be a better person because they realize, hey, I got to follow rules. If I don't follow rules, then I could be kicked out. So make sure that you follow through on the rules, but always check with God first. Always pray before you take somebody in and see if that's what God wants you to do. I hope that answered your question. Did I answer your question?
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
That's spot on. So we want to just end with that because that just really kind of set the tone for our day. Really going after, that internal peace in the name of the world that's chasing down happiness as if you're going to be happy all day. What happens when life happens and life be life, and as they say, some of you guys, I want you to be encouraged. Be encouraged in the Lord. Sometimes our strength, so I was just telling Celeste earlier, I don't want the really embedded in doing it all, being it all, cooking, cleaning, working, dealing with the kids, doing hair, sewing clothes, ironing, cooking again, doing it all over again, and then having some energy to be sexy for your husband. I don't want that definition of a strong black woman. I give myself permission to redefine what a strong black woman is, which means your girl needs some help up over here. Being okay with saying, look, I don't have it all together. I'm not really good at sitting down reading with these kids. I'm finna put them over here in the Graves Daycare Center and let her get them together. I'm finna go over here. This one can braid this one's hair, right? And as you guys, you married couples out there, I know we're celebrating Valentine, but that's the thing too. Sometimes you assign out of dedicated upbringing for many women. I don't cook as much as I used to when I first got married. My husband is the primary cook in the house right now. And it was very hard for me to make that change. But as I was seeking peace, I said, look, this brother was raised by his grandmother. That woman cooked from scratch from the floor down. And so he was sitting up on some of them skills. And the only time that I would solicit his support starting off in marriage is when I was burnt out and start busting these kids, birthing these kids out. Come to find out, he's been a resource and a help mutually. But in the name of being a strong black woman, I'm gonna what all experienced me. They might say, well, girl, you lucky. This person cook. And I'm like, it don't even start like that. You guys have got to give yourself permission in a marriage to sit down and revisit how the home dynamic needs to work. So everyone is on board as a team. If you in the way and don't allow all of him, and you fellas on here, if you in the way, you don't allow all of her to come to the table with the skill sets and the ability to learn and grow and evolve, then you guys burn out. This person hiding their stuff because it's not supported. Then you bring in more chaos to the situation. So I'm going to tell you, I am going to tell you that if you are on here today and you can honestly say that I need a place to relax Celeste black sofa and her fluffy, we create an atmosphere not only for couples, but for you millennials that's adjusting to life. You're a young parent. a male or a female, you just struggling right now and you don't know how to get out how you truly feeling. I want to see you down. Take all the insurances. We have 2, 3 other providers next door, right? And our goal is to get you matched up with an individual who slays at what you're going through. And not only do we have educational background, we have lived experience, we have wisdom, right? And we want you to reach out 559-390-1444. Go ahead and make that gift for yourself to text and say, hey, I want more information. Don't wait like actively to unpack some things. I was telling Celeste earlier, I see my therapist every quarter. At one time, I needed to see my therapist every single week. It is okay to have a objective party that has no way in on each side to help you unpack some of your stuff. And so we want to make sure that you are aware that when we get up and we rise and we're very grateful to be called to serve, that we're here for you. More importantly, God is there for you. If you don't have a spiritual journey, we don't force our issue. We don't really try to convince you otherwise. We're here to sow seed and do what we're called to do. You're going to find out on the journey that you have to go within yourself to pull it out and to understand that whatever you're going through and you're trying to go through it by yourself, that's not working. So you got to be able to be willing to try something different. For my fellas out there, it's Black History Month. How much more effective can you be if you allow yourself the machoism that the world assigned to you and you picked it up along the way and applied that to your life to really say, the truth of the matter is I'm a workaholic. I might not have ever touched meth in my life, but I am a workaholic because the world tells me I got to be a provider for my family, even if that means working myself to death. I don't really know my kids. I can't tell you what they are. I can tell you that I worked overtime to pay the bills. And you dealing with stuff at work your wife don't even know about. Why? Because you hide it really well. Get yourself at 559-390-1444 and make that call. If you don't really, feel like, hey, you know what? I don't know about seeing a female therapist. That's fine. We have guys as well. If some of you guys are out there, go ahead, Celeste, because I want to grab a book for them. Other things that you can offer them by way of, social work table talks. Our goal in this space as we wrap up is to encourage you, give you tools to empower yourself so that you can elevate, and together we thrive. Go ahead and tell them what you can offer or what you offer and specialize in. Let me go grab the book.
So I specialize in therapy, and I take all groups, all whatever you say that you're feeling, any kind of diagnosis you may have. If you're on medication, not on medication, if you're having problems with relationships, I take couples, families, I take individuals. And there's nothing too hard for the Lord, okay? And so, and also I do some Christian counseling also. So if you're interested in learning more about who you are in Christ and what God has given you, the gifts and the talents and things that He's given you, yes, give me email me at beyourbestwithceleste@gmail.com, and we can work that out. We can talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to let you guys know that we're going to be offering monthly self-care meetups, and we're going to be having self-care meetups. Not only if you're not in the area, you will be able to get the link so that you can join in this process of soft lifestyle living is what we're calling it. You can also still be served. Okay. We also have a nice atmosphere where you can just come and relax. Sometimes people come here literally on their lunch. They come and they just relax. And our goal is when you come in here, you can feel the weights drop off. And when you leave out of here, you can have some more clarity about yourself, right? A lot of you guys are doing way better than you think, but you don't have nobody in your corner to show you that, right? And sometimes we could be so hard on ourselves, and you going from one goal to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. You're not sleeping right. You constipated, your digestive system is constipated, your spiritual life is constipated, and you need to release that. And I make sure I always describe it in that context because it's so much that's coming at you right now. And I want you to understand you have the right, you have permission to change some things that's not honoring who you are right now. You're not the same young man when you was coming in junior high. You're not the same woman that was coming out of college. You're not the same woman in that first or second marriage. You are an individual. You are a human being. We need to be stretching in our being. You're not what your mom and them told you when you were little. You're not the things that you tell yourself in the shower about your poor body image and all of that. You're not the busyness where you're trying to meet and please everybody in order to be loved and accepted. But if you sit up online all day and sit up in the meetings at work the days of your life, that tells me you believe those lies so much so that you have not rendered the gift through all the painful experiences in your life to the world. And that's where we come in. We have an amazing young lady that I call a friend who is really showering her gift over at Workforce Connection, but she has taken her skill set and became certified in anger management. I have talked with her. We're in conversations. You guys know I've been social working 25 years in child welfare and California correctional systems. And you guys know how I feel about systems. You guys know that they were not created to serve. Um, and not intended to serve, right? They reinforce the very issue that brought you through that door. And so, proactively, this community social work and life coaching that I'm doing right now is bringing you the resources before things crash. And what I know about anger management and court order anger management, a lot of you guys see people that go, they fall asleep in the classes, they don't want to go, they're trying to get ankle monitors off, they're trying to get shackles off, they're trying to get the paperwork downtown for those people, and they don't really have a buy-in to their healing. They're just doing it just to check off a box. And I'm telling you, as a community-based social worker, I do not represent any government entities, nor am I telling you that I represent the county or the state in which I was employed. I am self-employed, and I'm telling you through the lens of life coaching right now, giving you the guidance that you want and the push that you need. You know that you know that you know that you're struggling with anger. You popping off at every little thing, super irritable. You know if you need it. You don't need to let a judge get you in a situation and you out here cutting up. It's not just for men because we got a lot of domestic violence with men and women. And so Sister LaMonica will be coming and she's going to be offering anger management workshops for men. She's going to do a pilot program. She went and invested in herself to be certified as an independent instructor. If anybody took her classes, you are going to be transformed. You're going to have more insight on how to cope and deal with your frustrations and emotions in a healthy way. If we gonna honor Black history, we got to gel our edges on all the things that we need to in order to move forward as legacy builders that we are. I don't want another person to be court ordered to anything. If you got a niece, nephew, your husband, or the wife, they got anger issues. Don't nobody have to spell out what an anger issue is because you're smart enough to know what an anger issue is. It's way different from being mad and upset because that's just what we do. But anger issues, y'all know that's top tier, zero tolerance. You already know. Have that courageous conversation with the individual. They get upset, let them get upset. They're going to be all right. I'd rather for them to get upset with you, calling them on that and being accountable and you approaching them in love than them to end up in the system begging and crying for you to send a box quarterly because they couldn't handle their anger. So when we out here in meetings and out here serving and meeting and shaking hands with folks, and God is opening up doors for resources to come, holding this to ourselves because to know that we need each other now more than ever. We need you healthy and whole, doing the thing God called you to do. It might be a phone call I got to make to you that you build homes or, you work with teen and you got a mentorship program for young men. Whatever it is that God put on your heart to do, that is why you're getting so much attack right now, because the enemy knows once you get this thing right and you start to show up for yourself, be in good company, that's going to push and propel you, and God just strip you away from all the things that's been holding you up. Oh, baby, you know, you need to go ahead and celebrate now. Celebrate now. Because individuals that wise with until COVID hit and the Lord revealed to them, I need you to go higher. Yes, you work for the people and they turn the clock off at 5 p.m., but I got a 7 p.m. ministry for you to pour and sow seed to this individual. For my entrepreneurs out there, make it about service. Service is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. Service is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. I love that scripture. I mean, that not scripture, I'm sorry. I love that quote with Dr. Muhammad Ali, so much so that I put it on my graduate invitation for college. And my daughter did the same on hers. Service is the rent we pay for our room here on earth, serving people in the most authentic way. And the revenues will come. They will come. Don't get on the sideline of this cutthroat world trying to get a quick dollar. That's not going to sustain you. That's not in order. All right. So just know that we have some things coming up. Celeste has her email up. You guys on the replay, please put replay in the comments so we kind of gauge what's a good time to do our table topics. We want to thank you guys so much. Celeste, you have any final thoughts?
Yes, thank you so much, Tasha, for all of that. I love that service is what you pay rent for your room here on earth. I love that. It's so wonderful. And it's got, thank you for allowing me this space to pour into you love and my love for you. And may you take that love and run with it like a baton and share that love with others. Thank you for your time. It was a privilege of being here. Thank you again, and you have a wonderful day.
All right, guys. Thank you for our first table topics. We can't wait to see you guys. And we love you for real, for real. 559-390-1444. Go ahead and text us and let us know that you want more information, and we will take it from there. God bless you. God keep you. And we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. We'll see you soon.